everybody, and may the 4th be with you.
Oh,
and also, welcome to the poll.
Nice.
I'll wear this for as long as I can before I can't wear it anymore, and then I'll have to take it off. So, guys, of course, the poll is the show where we talk about the comics that came out this week. So that's what we're going to be doing up until the point where I got to go, because I'm going to see Guardian. It's a lot going on, guys. There's a lot going on this week. We got comics that came out. It's the Guardians. It's May the 4th. The free comic book days on Saturday. Guys, I can't even handle this.
Busy week.
Can't even.
It's gonna be fun though.
I'm so excited for Saturday and tonight and everything. So
and then
nerdy.
Cinco de Mayo is tomorrow, so of course, you know, everyone's gonna be super trash for free comic book day. Anyway,
I'm respectfully eating tacos.
there you go. And drinking tequila shots. Anyway, so I'm joined today by Joel of Cape Joel and Caitlin from That Sea Monster. So normally we'd have maybe a little banter here and there. We're just going into it. Joel, Champions number 8. What happened?
Wow, so this was a weird issue. For anyone who's been keeping up with it so far, Mark Waid's been going a little outside the box of your traditional superhero story. The Champions are battling for their intellectual property rights that were stolen by the evil freelancers and put on a bunch of evil consumerist products. And Miss Marvel just won. Yeah, oh no, really, that's what's going on in that book right now.
Yeah, the battle of marketing.
It is. Miss Marvel wants to go fight them. Everyone's like, nah, like, they're terrible, but they're actually legally in the right on this one, so we can't. They kind of go to pieces for a huge chunk of the issue, and then they focus on the maybe budding relationship between Amadeus Cho, Hulk, and Viv, and Vision kind of being a doting dad. And then at the end, Nova's like, yeah, I used the power of the internet to talk to our fans and followers directly and told them we got screwed. And they've decided not to buy any of this bootleg merchandise anymore. They're like, oh.
This sounds too real for me. I just, like, feel like if you've worked in indie publishing ever or have had any kind of marketing job, this is just going to be like, nope. Already went to work today.
It's just like that, and it's funny because like one of the like side stories of this is Nova trying to find his place on the team because he's like, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the strongest, I'm not the leader. What am I? I guess Nova kind of comes out this issue as the heart of the team and kind of the sensible one because everyone else goes to pieces and doesn't know how to settle this problem. Nova solves it in like 5 minutes.
That's great. Thank God somebody's got it together.
Yeah, someone figured it out. Interesting, too, I guess they've officially crowned Cyclops the leader of this team now because he starts running a simulation wherein he would have to go explain this problem to the Avengers, so he's already seeing himself as the leader and the guy who would get the brunt if they ever got in trouble.
They had to run a simulation for that?
He ran a simulation. He's like, well, we always had the danger room back in my school, so I figured we'll just run a simulation here now.
Gonna run some court simulations.
Yeah, see how it would
explainer video simulations.
It's funny, too, because Cyclops' costume has magically changed from how it looked before to how he looks in the new X-Men Blue. So
Neat. So when is this happening?
I don't know, Tiff. I really don't. Unless there's a side story we didn't see where Scott had to go home, change his costume, and come back to hang out with the Champions.
Well, part of me is wondering, does this take place at the same time as Secret Empire, or is this just happening in an indiscriminate timeline?
I think we can talk about that more when we get to Secret Empire. That's a great point you brought up, Caitlin.
Right.
Yes.
It seems like all the characters are doing lots of things, and they have no time to seemingly be doing them. So, I don't know. I mean, like, look, if you take it out of continuity context, I mean, like, I get it. They're trying something different with the team. Right now, I have a feeling they might be pushing the envelope a little bit, probably in light of the more recent drama that came with Marvel. So I can imagine the creative team was like, oh no, we're going all in on this story.
For sure.
All in.
And
you gotta respect Wade for that. Being like, what are you gonna do? Get rid of me?
Yeah, you're already probably gonna get rid of us anyway. You know, we can see it coming.
We're just gonna go for it. No holds bar. It's like when you turn in your 2 weeks notice and you're like, YOLO.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. So I guess we'll just see how this kind of finishes out and what the fate of the Champions will be.
Yeah, this wasn't my favorite issue.
Intellectual rights to their branding back. Find out,
right?
Again, my issue with this issue was that it seemed like a problem that should have been really easy to solve, yet it wasn't.
I feel like in the real world, it probably would have been easier to solve because the champions would have just been like, look, here is a long sheet of how we have used our branding and our name previously in the past, and they are encroaching in on our brand territory, and we have actually laid claim. We are enforcing our legitimate copyright to our brand, and the court would be like, yeah, they've been using it longer than you. Bink.
Hey, does Matt Murdock do copyright law? Feels like they should reach out to him for something.
Nobody ever reaches out to him, ever.
I know.
Right? They're
Why?
just like, I don't know.
Not even She-Hulk. She's a lawyer, too.
They're sightists.
There's so many lawyers.
It's because you can't see. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, look, now I get it. You got the thing, but, you know.
Kind of like when artists get shit stolen from them by Urban Outfitters. I'm like, Urban Outfitters settles for stupid amounts of money as long as you threaten them with a lawsuit.
Right. I guess they figured the freelancers are technically bad guys, though, so I don't know. I just kind of assumed they would, be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to stop, though. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do?
What indeed?
They go to, like, villain jail. They're like in the raft or, like, the Triskelion, and they're like, what are you in here for? Copyright infringement?
Ooh, don't mess with them. We got a badass over here. We got a whole team of them.
With his fire bowling shirt, that stupid ass 90s kid Linkin Park fire bowling shirt, like, copyright infringement, hard time.
Then you got villains like the Armadillo, where it's like, oh, you're gonna be bunking with me then. In that case, I'm in for something similar.
God damn it, Armadillo. Stupid fire bowling shirt guy.
So, all right.
Keeps showing up and keeps getting beaten up by different heroes. It's great.
That sucks. So, all right, Champions maybe not at its best, but it's there, and we'll see where it's going. But now let's move on to Superman 22. Caitlin, what happened in Soup?
Superman 22. Things, places, stuff. Actually, no, it was really good.
It was.
Yeah. No, it was. So essentially, Lois is going full-blown investigator mode. John and Damian have vanished along with Batman, and Spooperman has been kind of sent on a wild goose chase. So Lois is in full-blown investigator mode, trying to figure out where her son, Damian, and Bruce have gone off to. And she figures out that the milkman across the street is a bit more than your regular, average, everyday guy that squeezes cow teats for that sweet, succulent juice. Why did I say it like that?
I don't know, but you can't stop now. Keep going.
I couldn't stop it. The vivid description. But anyway, she figured out that he is actually a nefarious villain who does have something to do with the disappearance of Batman and of Damian and even her son. She rushes back to the Kent farm in order to put in a call to the Justice League, but as soon as she opens the door, she sees the mayor and the official townsfolk waiting for her. It's kind of like, did anybody see Hot Fuzz?
Yes.
And then they realize that the mayor and, like, the town welcoming committee...
All the greater good.
Yeah, they're all like evil villains, but for the greater good of the town.
The greater good.
Loved that twist.
Oh, it was so good. Hot Fuzz is excellent, but it's exactly like that scene in Hot Fuzz. But Lois is not going down without a fight. So they try to kidnap her, they try to incapacitate her. She rushes upstairs, and they're like, what wife of Superman is going to her sock drawer for a gun? And she's like, it's not a gun, it's a flame gauntlet, bitches.
It's the Hellbat armor, which she got in a previous issue. I love she kept it. I love that she kept the Hellbat gauntlet.
She kept the Hellbat costume, well, pieces of the armor, for safekeeping, and she puts on the gauntlet, and she starts flame-throwing her way out of danger. And then, as she's trying to make her escape, the Batmobile pulls up.
Yep.
And she uses the gauntlet to activate the Batmobile. And she tries to drive off, but then the milkman, that bastard, telepathically disassembles the Batmobile, and she is kidnapped.
You know, I half imagine Batman when he sees how good Lois did with the gauntlet and the Batmobile. He's like, Lois, do you want to join my team?
She's like, no, I don't.
I got this extra Batgirl costume.
Bruce.
It's from the 90s, but it's still in really good shape.
No, I don't want that. I don't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Really...
No, I'm really good. But
nope. Like really good job.
No.
Like
no.
I
have a job. I'm good. Thanks.
And Clark's like, geez, that's my wife, man. Seriously, did you just ask her to become the new Batgirl? What the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's
but
like
the salary though, it's like $100K a year.
It's just like
Nope.
I gotta tell you, I gotta give her props for like, thank you, Lois, for being like, I'm gonna call the Justice League. Like, yeah,
right away.
Yeah, like not waiting, not never doing it, not leaving that open for us to be like, why didn't they just call the Justice League? She's like, hey, you know what? It's time to call the Justice League.
I'm gonna go call the Justice League right away.
Yeah.
And the villains were like, wow, you were right, Dairyman. She is a fast learner. And I was like that. They made the milkman one step ahead.
Right. This is like I like this issue because it reminded me of horror movies in which our protagonist is off doing something, like they're learning and investigating, and then there's like the other person who just gets swept up in everything, and you're just like, it sucks being you because like everything's happening to you and there's no help for you.
Fight, man.
Yeah, like.
But I do have to say, like, I agree with you, Tiff. I give her major props for not doing the typical white girl in a horror movie, where she's basically like, let me linger around the property of old man Whitaker a little longer.
Yeah.
And she doesn't fall down either.
No, she immediately was like, nope, I'm calling the police. I'm fighting my way out. She did a Scream. Was the protagonist in Scream?
Oh.
Where she like...
To her.
She does not do any horror movie cliches. She just like kicks him right in the nuts and tries to shoot him in the face. Like, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah,
but meanwhile, Superman finds out that the dairy farmer has been keeping everyone in test tubes.
That we've seen so far. Frankenstein's there, a bunch of aliens from earlier on in the Lois and Clark run. Yeah. It's funny, when they said that like the super family was moving back to Metropolis, I'm like, oh, I liked Hamilton County. I wish you could keep living there. Now after this issue, I'm like, oh, I don't love it anymore. I see why you have to move now.
It was like, take Get Out, Pleasantville, and Hot Fuzz. That was this issue. That was.
They're also seemingly superpowered. So siphoning superpowers, they just have them. They're part of some sort of hive mind. Who knows? But we will find out.
Are they milking the superpowers? Is that what the dairy farmer does? He milks.
Oh no,
that's gross. I couldn't put that out
possible, which makes it grosser.
Yeah.
I keep thinking. Now I'm thinking of that scene in that movie Meet the Parents, where he's like, I have nipples, Greg, can you milk me? Just the dairy farmer. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop. I should not have been the one to summarize.
I was not expecting a Meet the Parents joke
when I
came into work today. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you.
So Superman, Superman is having a nice respite from all of his like crazy continuity changing like reveals. And just having a real story with Batman and friends. So we'll keep reading this, see where this is going. I'm looking forward to finding out more, because they're definitely stringing us along, but in a nice, well-paced manner. Moving on, as I look at the clock. Let's talk about Guardians! All new Guardians of the Galaxy, #1 came out. I read this, Joel read this. So this was one of 3 titles that came out for Guardians this week.
It's a little much, Marvel.
Guys, you think a Guardians of the Galaxy movie is coming out or something?
That's crazy. I don't think it correlates at all.
Right?
I think that's a stretch.
Right?
This is the first Guardians book I've read since all the way back in Marvel now when Bendis took over. I read a couple of those, read nothing until now.
No. So this was like, I think I'm even further back than that.
Grounded is really good though.
It was. I like that.
Yeah, that was good.
That I did read.
The last I really technically saw of Guardians was in Monsters Unleashed.
Yeah.
So they were there. Yay.
The Groot story was really good though. The monster of his home planet that like eats the Groot people and like churns them up and makes them into fire and incinerates them alive. That's good.
It's an industrial revolution allegory. So anyway,
with the fires of industry.
The fire of industry.
Hey, Tolkien said that's not what that was about. Anyway, so Guardians of the Galaxy, all new Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just Guardians of the Galaxy. We all know that, okay, guys? It is a heist book. Yay. Like, honestly, yay. Like, that's what I want from this. I want them to be having fun and having cool adventures. Coming into this, not having been reading Guardians, I was like, what's going on? That's okay. It'll all make sense eventually. They'll explain things as we go. We start on the planet of Citopia. It's kind of on the nose. It's a big city
and a utopia. It's both.
It's a little bit of everything. Where they have one of those, like, super cool storage bank things. It's like Gringotts, but not. And people pay lots of money to store their valuables there, which is the, of course, perfect setup to have the Guardians come crashing in. But they don't just come crashing in like regular style, like in a ship or like incognito. Nah, they gotta do it big. They do it huge. All of a sudden Galactus shows up. But it's not Galactus. It's mech suit Galactus. That I guess.
Shout out to the Trojans.
Damn.
So they ride up in mech suit. Of course, everyone flees the planet. And they just.
But I thought he was nice now. They said.
I know. They're like, I thought his hunger was satiated. It's not.
Nice use of continuity, Jerry Duggan. Nice
right?
use of continuity.
So they roll up into the bank vault essentially, where one guy was lingering. He was late to the party to leaving. So now of course they're kind of found out, but people are have to return on their ship, so they do have some time. We find out that Groot is a pacifist now. I don't know if that's something that or not Groot. That Drax is a pacifist. I don't know if that's something that has occurred in the previous books. They seemingly kind of mentioned that it was something he didn't want to talk about. So I don't know if that's just something starting here or not. But I thought if you were someone like me coming into this who was uncertain, that this was a great way to assure me that you were going to explain this at some point. So I appreciated that. They bust into one of the vaults and they steal a pink box because why not? Because that's of course what
pink boxes they're great and they make great hat boxes.
Right?
So.
Exactly. It's just a big pink square box. There's presumably cake inside of it. So then they fly off. And by the way, the team is the movie team. Let's not pretend like it's not. It's the movie team that you would know going into the movie. Of course, those of us who know that there are going to be a few more added members into the movie now.
Although Star-Lord is kind of back to his older Abnett era costume because he's wearing blue again. Right? He's kept the beard he grew in the Darsky story.
He looks a little bit like Danny Rand from the Netflix series. I was like, why are you looking like Danny Rand? But there you are anyway. So we have pacifist.
Does look like comic book Danny Rand, and I'm like, we're same facing our generic white heroes again.
Right.
We need to make him a little bit more defined.
Right. Yeah. No, they're like, nah, he's cool.
He's like, no, we like this face shape. It's easy.
It's
just
nice.
Print it out.
Done. We of course have Drax, Gamora, Baby Groot, Rocket Raccoon, and of course Star-Lord. They get away in their Galactus mech suit. They abandon that, get on their ship, take off for the meeting. Cue the giant space fish that eats their ship. That happens
like
sometimes.
Jonah and the whale.
Sometimes you're just in space and there's like a giant tropical fish eats you. They go inside, they have their rendezvous, which they were not expecting, and it's of course with the Grandmaster, which is like, oh, I see what you're doing. He's trying to set some other stuff up for us so we're all familiar.
What do giant space fish normally eat? Because there's not a lot of things to eat in space.
Well, presumably
satellites.
It's funny because like Grandmaster has set up shop inside of the fish, so I'm not really sure how things are not being digested slowly over 1,000 years.
Do they photosynthesize? That
maybe
would kind of make sense if they feed off of refracted light.
He just swims around a sun for a while and then takes off.
I assume the Grandmaster was feeding him.
Right? he goes outside, he shakes some flakes.
But not too much now.
You don't want you don't want him to die because they don't know when to stop. Let's be honest. The Grandmaster reveals, of course, he has a giant collection. That his collection is larger than the Collector's. He makes sure that everyone knows that. It is clearly the rivalry that they're setting up between those two. He used this as a test. They collected essentially a small galaxy that's stuck in like a little bubble, and he's just like, and he uses like some science things that Ethan might appreciate, except for the word tachyon. I'm sure he'd be like, no. But he's like, this was a test, and now you're going to go get the real thing. And they're like, no, you're going to pay us, and we're going to go. And he's like, you're going to go steal something from the Collector, because I really want it. And they're like, no, we're not gonna do that. And he's like, well, you already kind of did steal from the collector, so unless you want me to tell him that you stole from him, you're gonna go steal from the collector again. And they're like, shoot. So essentially they go to do that. We kind of realize that, like, the team's kind of falling apart right now. We just started the book and the team's falling apart, so we'll have that moment, hopefully, in the future where everybody rallies together, and then we get, like, the cool, like, woo, mystery thing. So we're gonna have this heist going on with, like, however they're gonna get the collector's stuff. But then we have
Guardians of the Galaxy, Ocean's 11.
That's pretty...
Ocean's 11.
Yeah, they'll have to get, like, you know, like 6 more guys, I guess. But they realize Groot isn't growing. Like, Groot's stuck tiny. He's not getting any bigger. And they're like, it's weird. And, like, Rocket doesn't know why. And they can't quite figure it out. And then
he just wants to relive his childhood.
Yeah, if only it were that. But then we cut to another planet where there's someone who has all these, like, hundreds of tiny shards of Groot. And they're growing a small army of Groots. And that's why he can't get any bigger.
Tiny Groots, more tiny Groots.
So this shadowy figure, who knows when that's gonna come into play. I'm looking forward to, honestly, the heist stuff. I think the art's kind of neat. It's super different, but it has, like, this like interesting, like, Avatar-esque quality to it in a way. Cool. I don't know. I kind of like it though. It's neat and interesting, so we'll keep picking that up. And that's that.
Yeah, it sounds like it's off to a really good start, and that makes me happy because I know it was, like, really iffy for a while.
Yeah, but this seems like kind of fun. This is the one we read. Right, you got anything to add to that, Joel, before we move on?
Yeah, it's very easy to pick up. I mean, if you weren't a fan of the Guardians comic before, I don't know if this will necessarily make a believer out of you, but if you were really hungering for a fresh start after Bendis, starts don't get much fresher than this.
Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we're gonna move on to a big one. We're gonna talk about Secret Empire #1.
Yeah.
Caitlin, summarize this.
Okay. All right. I will try to summarize this and not do it
a lot happened
awkwardly, but a lot happened. So I will summarize it as best I can, and then you guys can fill in the blanks. But basically, we open up on a little kid and his brother who is taking care of him, and this little kid is basically existing within the new empire, the new America that Captain America has cultivated, that Hydra had
skipped ahead in time, haven't we? Didn't the teacher say we burned the books a year ago?
Yeah, we skip ahead in time a year after the takeover. So it's really interesting because there's a lot of world building. We're in this transitional phase of a new America and a new regime, and it's become this new normal. And the little kids have already adapted to it, which I thought was a great use of children in this story, because kids are going to adapt and adjust to something like a major regime change a lot faster than adults will. So we get the perspective of the kid first. And, you know, he gets dropped off at school, and we learn that they've actually burned all of the previous history books a year ago. They've pretty much burned all of Captain America's past history and erased it from existence. And now the new Hydra history is law. That is the new reality. So everything is the same, with a lot of the Captain America symbolism and, you know, the kind of intense patriotism is still the same, but it's all been replaced with Hydra. And so at the beginning of the class, all of the kids, you know, say a pledge to Hydra, and they say, "Hail Hydra."
They do their salute.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and the kids are actually getting re-educated. So, you know, a little kid answers a question about Captain America in class, and the teacher goes, "No, we have learned that there was," what did she call it? The Great Illusion.
Yes, the Great Awakening. The fake history that Cap was seeing, that was the real world. We were living in the fake world, kids. We just didn't know.
We were living in the fake world. And when Captain America awoke from his dream of the Allies and awoke from his dream of Hydra and became new and independent, that is the new reality. And he, by his great graces, also woke us up.
Supreme Leader Steve.
And like they talk about the little kids in class, they talk about what is it? It's like, what are the 3 tenets of Hydra? And it was oh gosh, what was the first one? It was
strength, loyalty, and some.
Oh no, it was loyalty, punish the weak, because it wasn't strength. It was loyalty, punish the weak, and report. And this kid, the kid that we're following throughout this story, his brother is an Inhuman. He's somebody who has powers, you know, he's an Inhuman. I don't have to explain that. We're all fans. We all already know. But he's an Inhuman, and this little kid's brother gets reported for being an Inhuman. And we kind of end this this part with this little kid's mini story arc with Hydra AmeriCorps basically busting down the kid's door and taking his brother away because he was reported by another kid in class.
Yep.
So there's definitely this lack of trust, this very handmaiden-esque constant surveillance on all of the people so that they can kidnap or detain anybody who's not with the program. You know, we also see another scene in a train station where all of the train station logos and everything, it's all Hydra. There's surveillance cameras everywhere. Everything's very white. Everything's very clean. And then we move to the monologue of Captain Marvel, who is begging and pleading for people to wake up, to say, it doesn't matter what side of the earth you're on. It doesn't even matter if you're not on this planet. Steve will not be satisfied until the whole world adheres and the whole universe adheres to his brand of authoritarianism. We have to fight for our rights to be able to think independently, to be able to have opposing views from each other, to be able to live in the way that we want to live. And this doesn't just involve the Earth, this involves the entire universe.
Really
and
like that.
It's Captain Marvel's, basically her desperate plea across the universe that she's sending for assistance to help the Earth and to break down this barrier, because Captain America has essentially created a force field around the entire Earth that is blocking out all of the heavy-hitting superheroes from getting in and from saving people from his crazy authoritarianism. So it's really interesting, and it definitely, what Nick Spencer's line does is, and I think it's fascinating regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on, you can view it as relevant or irrelevant, but it discusses the very easy slide into fascism that any government and any structure can take. And I think that is something that's important about this run, because it's not escapism, but there are other comics, like DC right now is amazing escapism. If that's what you want out of comics, DC is where your jam is at. But if you want something that's definitely going to make you think and going to make you analyze, and that's going to make you kind of feel like you're in a comics as literature 101 class.
And will age well.
And that will age well. This is for you, because we've had George, Orwell in 1984. We've had The Handmaiden that came out in the early 90s. These books are timeless. They're relevant no matter what. And I think that this illustration of how easy it is to go from patriotism to nationalism and fascism, and how easy it is to make that transition, is fascinating. And it's a very good read. And it's just great. It's really interesting. I don't like personally that Captain America is a fascist like that. As a hardcore Cap fan, I feel enraged and upset that he is a fascist right now. But story-wise, it's a good story. It's a very well-written story.
And it's supposed to feel sick and wrong, too, because you want to see it undone.
It's supposed to make you feel sick and uncomfortable and angry. That is how it's supposed to make you feel. And it definitely does that. Like, I wanted to throw up when I was done reading it. But I'm not going to lie, Nick Spencer is a talented writer. He's writing it very well.
Got some new characters in this one, too. We got Deshaun, who is probably going to become the new Patriot now.
I gotta tell you right now, I get it. It's okay to me. It doesn't have me at all. Like, I'm reading it because we have to read it, and it's not like it's bad. It's just, it doesn't have me right now. And I'm like, it's just because of the fact that it's, that everything's gonna go back. Also, I'm watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now.
Which are doing the same thing.
And it's like, you guys should have spaced this out better. You shouldn't have let the TV do it first. And I'm not saying they did it better, not by any means, but like I've already seen this now, and in the same way of it being like they're in a fake world, so which is the real world? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we all know what the real world is. Like, I get it, I know. Like, I just wish they had thought this out better and maybe not even done that plot in the show, because it's not worth it. Like, but for someone who's watching and reading at the same time, I'm like, I get it. Oh, Hydra, I got it.
Yeah. I haven't been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so that might actually be why I'm drawn to the Nick Spencer run and why I've been enjoying it, because I this is not on repeat for me.
Right.
Like, I'm currently reading it for the first time, but recreating it for TV, that I feel that is a little bit irritating. I feel like Nick Spencer's run will age very well, but when it's up against 80 million events, and when it's up against the TV show, and when it's up against all of the bullshit that is Marvel right now, because let's face it, they haven't been doing well, even though I really want them to do well. I feel like it's kind of getting lost in a lot of that. But overall, I do think Secret Empire will do very well in the long run.
My only concern about Nick Spencer's writing is I wasn't, and I don't even think it's even a concern, it was just I had a little complaint. I didn't like his writing for Black Widow. I thought she was really weird. Like, she wasn't, I don't know, she's not what I think of in my head.
I kind of felt that too, and I also felt like, you know, it's been a year. I feel like there's a lot of story they're not telling us yet, and I feel that's going to be in the Free Comic Book Day issue. We're going to have to read that.
Oh no, I'm sure. And I got to tell you, I really wish the art was stronger.
Yeah.
It's inconsistent. Whether or not that means there are multiple artists working on it simultaneously, I don't know, but like, it's fine. It's
Niven,
fine.
Right?
They say it is, but it's like kind of all over the place. You know what I mean? Like,
it's Niven like you've never seen him before.
Yeah, and it's like, that's a shame. Like, this is something big for you guys. This is the thing where you're like, no, everything's going to change. We're leading into something here. This is a big deal. And like, I just feel like the artist doesn't stand up to that.
I feel like what Marvel is having trouble with right now is that they're struggling. First of all, the quantity of books that they have right now cannot be supported by the staff they have right now. Like, they've devalued their artists, they've devalued their writers, and that, first of all, is not going to create an environment for really good creation to begin with. And it's also, with the quantity of books and the quantity of things and the demand that they have right now, it's overworking them on top of it. So you have a devalued staff who is also being overworked, and you're not really being set up for success at that point. Which is something that I've been really disappointed with Marvel, is just sort of the way their higher level has been handling their creators and their company attitude and a lot of that. Because it's just, I feel like you're just throwing in a bare bones staff and then setting them up to fail and then calling that and then devaluing them on top of that.
No, I completely understand that. I feel like sometimes with like things like this, they see some, like, because there are some panel treatments that are great in this book.
Oh yeah,
but they're not all great, and it has to do with what their strengths are. I think McNiven's strength is inorganic materials. Like, he can draw a gun and a car, and it looks great. Like, the scene
those dreadnoughts looked awesome.
They look awesome. It's when you have to get in with faces, like, things start getting kind of funky. I'm like, what is that? What is that? Like, like that gets to me sometimes, especially when I'm like, this is supposed to be a book.
Supergirl and feet, like Supergirl and feet for me.
Yeah.
The feet and the hands and Supergirl.
Yeah, and look, they're hard. I get it. It's all hard, but it's like you're doing a book about a man who we have, like, gone through, like, the history with being, like, the American Boy Scout, he's the all-American, he's like the dream, it's hope, it's there, it's him, and now you're making him evil and you can't make the face right. Come on! Also, Spencer, what time period are we doing this in, and why is Doctor Strange got all that magic?
Yeah, that's interesting. Not only does he have magic, but he's having a magic duel with Elsa Sinclair. That's something. I didn't consider that.
I feel like at the start of Civil War II, like, I feel like giving Bendis, who basically, Bendis is a great writer, but he, again, I call him Honey Bendis because he just don't give a fuck about continuity.
Yeah.
He could just give less of a shit. And I feel like handing him a major, like, foundation event, like Civil War II, because Civil War II is the foundation for Secret Empire. And I feel like giving him a huge foundation event and saying fuck all to continuity has caused this string of events that say F all to continuity as well. And now it's just like continuity doesn't matter, and now we're in this vague time period because nobody cared to create a consistent continuity from the beginning.
At least they jumped ahead a year and be like, well, anything that doesn't make sense.
They did, and I gotta tell you, Doctor Strange number 21 is gonna tie into this.
Really? Oh yeah, that's right. Because the cover, it's him fighting Sinclair and having a big magic fight.
So I'm like, so you're gonna fast track my book.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
And that's what, like, look, I know last time we were talking about Secret Empire, I didn't really bring in on this, but everyone was talking about how they're excited about how, like, the tie-ins matter and, like, how important that is to you guys. That drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. You're dragging my book into this.
I like that the Thunderbolts tie-in matters.
There you go. That's fair.
My favorite
Look,
tie-in.
I get that. I get Sam Wilson's mattering. I totally get that. I get Cap's mattering. You know what I mean? Like, I get it.
That's all I want. I'm on board with you though. Those are the only issues that I want to tie in.
Yeah, but they're like,
that's it.
We'll just stretch it as far and wide as we can.
Like they did with Civil War too, and that strategy didn't work either. This is something that's really frustrating me with Marvel right now, is that they're using all of these publishing or marketing strategies that they used with Civil War II that backfired and exploded in their faces and didn't work, and now they're doing it again.
I mean, it didn't help, too, that Civil War II was kind of crappy, and this one's off to a better start. I'm hoping that a better story will see them through.
I feel like what they're doing is they're going, okay, this is a really good story. It's really well written. It's got a lot of buzz. It's got a lot of controversy. So surely this time, over-flooding fans with a giant number of comics and tie-ins that they can't possibly afford to purchase every month, we'll do it this time. This will save us this time. It won't, because you're still over-flooding the market with a bunch of unnecessary tie-ins, because let's face it, all of these tie-ins aren't going to be able to matter. Just in the quantity alone, they're not, and like all of the story adjacent bullshit, it's not all going to matter. I can see Captain Marvel mattering, I can see Sam Wilson mattering, Thunderbolts for sure, and the rest of it, I can't.
Is Champions getting one? I'm pretty sure Champions is getting one too.
I cannot see it mattering. I can see it being adjacent, but I can't see it being pivotal to the story.
Doctor Strange should be important too, because it's like, well, how do they get out of the dome? I guess this will explain it.
It's just, they're gonna overflood. They're gonna oversaturate their market again. They're gonna divide everything up again. They're going to make it impossible for everybody to get every piece of the story that they want. And fans are going to be, again, like with Civil War II, they're going to have a better story than Civil War II, but they're going to get frustrated again. And they're going to get angry again. And then we're going to get our big reset event. But I feel like after Secret Empire, if they do the same tie-in strategy that they did last time, I feel like when we get to our reset moment, fans are going to be exhausted and exasperated, and they're not going to be up for another event.
Which is why they're swearing no more for at least 18 months, but we'll believe it when we see it.
It's inevitable, though, after Secret Empire and after that aftermath, it's going to be inevitable that they're going to need a Rebirth-style event to reset the entire universe. Because that's when every single tie-in will matter. DC Rebirth, every single tie-in mattered, and then we petered off to a couple key issues. That was a good strategy. But to reset the universe again, for Marvel, they're going to need to do something similar, where they're going to need an overall reset event where every single tie-in is going to matter, and then peter off. But by that point, fans are going to be exhausted.
I think that's what Legacy is supposed to be. It's like a universe rebirth. Just buy this one.
I hope it's just buy this one, because I can't do it again. I cannot do another frickin' event. It's too much. Yeah. Why will you not learn, Marvel? Why will you not learn?
Does anybody know when? This is related to this. Doctor Strange number 20. Is it really coming out June 7th?
I don't know. Is it?
So,
because that's what Comicstorian.marvel.com says. Yeah, but Doctor Strange 21 is coming out on May 31st because it's a tie-in.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
So that's the first issue I will read with Dennis Hopeless at the Reigns.
Ooh.
Is a tie-in. And then I'll go back to Aaron and Boncholo. And then I'll go back to Hopeless. This is great. This is
That's
great.
weird.
This is awesome.
That's not great.
Anyway,
this is a great example of frustrating your fans. Like, it makes me want to table flip and just not spend my money on it. I mean, we have to read it, but like, if I had the choice, I would just be like, nah, I'm gonna opt out until a trade comes out, and I'm just gonna read it all at once because I don't want to deal with this.
So what we're saying is we mostly like Secret Empire, but editorial can get fucked a little bit.
That's it. There we go. That's the end of that. Let's talk about Green Arrow number 22. By the way, Secret Empire. Guys, if you didn't pick up issue 0, can they read this?
Yes, Secret Empire
maybe.
is great. Even if you didn't pick up issue 0, this is still a good place to jump onto, because issue 0 was basically how we got to Secret Empire, and issue 1 is the world building behind Secret Empire.
Yeah.
My dog is freaking out. I don't know if you can hear all the jingling.
That's okay. All right, so there you go. All right, but Green Arrow number 22. We haven't heard about Green Arrow in a while.
Yes. We are smack dab in a new storyline called The Rise of Star City. After almost 4 years of being in Seattle, Benjamin Percy is finally bringing back Star City in some form. We're not sure what it's going to take now. Apparently this is related to the Ninth Circle and this weird thing about the fault lines in Seattle all lining up to make like a pentagram star. And apparently Broderick, the new evil head of Queen Industries, is really interested in this, so much to the point that he has recruited 3 of the most famous and deadly Green Arrow villains. You got Cheshire, you got Brick, and you got Eddie Friars, all coming together to cause a series of intricate terrorist attacks all over the city, while the mayor, who of course is in the pocket of the evil Queen Industries guy, makes sure that no first responders actually respond to it. So there's a great scene where Oliver Queen puts on like a firefighter uniform and actually goes out there with his team of heroes and actually tries to help out.
All right.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about them calling it like the Rise of Star City? It's like that seems as though it doesn't exist in the DC universe right now.
I know, right? It's weird, and it hasn't existed. And I mean, if I get Star City back, much like in the same way I wanted Bloodhaven back for Nightwing, I'll appreciate it. Here's one thing I wasn't a fan of. So if you read the Jeff Lemire run, and I think you should because it was excellent, it was one of the best things coming out of the New 52 at the time. We found out that Ollie's dad was part of like an evil weapon cult called the Outsiders, not to be confused with the Batman team with the same name. In this issue, we find out Ollie's dad was also a member of the Ninth Circle, and I'm like, wait. He was part of 2 evil cults? How can you be part of 2 evil rich guy cults? That's too many cults.
I think you just get used to being part of like a really evil country club, and then when you move to a new city, you kind of have to get involved in the community there, and also join like that evil country club. You know, it's like, it's a rich people thing. Like, you know, you're part of one club for your summer house, and then you're part of another club for your winter house.
I used to be part of the Freemasons, then I moved for the summer, and then I joined the Hellfire Club, because that's what you do.
I'm pretty sure that's what he did. He was like, I will pay my yearly club fees to be part of this evil cult and other evil cults. You always have to keep one on the back burner.
Oh, of course.
Makes you look better.
In case one falls apart. Ollie and Black Canary have their first big knockdown, drag out, like, relationship fight in this issue, where it's like, no, I think we need to take some time apart. And I'm like, yes, they did this all the time in the old universe, and you break them up so they can come back together, because they always come back together, and that's why I love them. They work it out.
Remember that New 52 issue where she was trying on lingerie and wedding dresses?
Sure do.
It was a good issue. I like that. I think she was shopping with She-Hulk. Oh wait, no. Who was she shopping with?
That was someone from the Birds of Prey, I imagine.
Oh, Huntress. Huntress was one of them.
Yep, that was the one.
Batgirl, the other one.
They are the Birds of Prey, so yes, probably. I can only imagine so.
It was probably a Birds of Prey.
But yeah. Anyway. Green Arrow number 22. Cool issue if you love Green Arrow. Benjamin Percy is making a ton of great references to older stories, bringing in characters you like. It's just a solid good time, and maybe by the end of it, we'll have Star City back in the continuity, which, man, sucks to be you, anyone who lives in fictional Seattle, because they basically burned down and destroyed your whole city and are going to put a new fictional one in its place.
You got too many homeless people. I'm sorry. They're very flammable.
I liked Seattle when I was there, but if they renamed Seattle Star City, I'd probably go there way more often.
You'd move there.
So, all right. So, what do you think? Recommend it? People pick up now?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, you could probably pick up this issue. This is where, you know, the stuff really starts to kick off. The last issue is really the inciting incident, and this is all the stuff kind of happening. It's a good time. Juan Ferrara does the art on that, and he just kicks ass. He has pretty pictures.
Ooh. All right. So before we move on, who has the angry chef in their house right now? I keep hearing random, like, plate dropping sounds. At least that's what it sounds like.
I think the TV's on.
Okay.
I was gonna say, unless Ghost Chan is active right now, nothing's happening over here.
There you go. All right. Well, now that we've cleared that all up, what's going on in Harley, Caitlin? We've been having homeless people time contests.
Yeah. Speaking of flammable homeless people,
right.
Harley Quinn. This issue actually was the best issue of Harley that I've read in a long time. Nice. It was like a full-on grindhouse movie.
Good.
That's what it was. Just really cool fight scenes, good old-fashioned gore, good old-fashioned Harley Quinn cutting people's heads off and somehow not being indicted for it. Like, it was just really good. So where we left off in the previous issue, Harley had been picked up as a street bum, and because she was going undercover, since
as opposed to those bums who don't live on the street.
Yeah, as opposed to those bums that don't live on the street. But she was going undercover because somebody had kidnapped her friend who is a homeless person, and she went to, like, drop off some money and food like she usually does and have a talk with him. She couldn't find him, so she goes undercover to figure out who took him, and she winds up getting kidnapped and thrown into a truck that is just full of bodies. And she finds his body.
Ooh.
And it's like the way that she copes with it is honestly really sad. She does the same thing that she does with the little stuffed beaver that, like, lives at her house, where she gives it its own voice that talks to her in her head. That's like a separate voice. And so she's tied up and she's trying to get out, and she recognizes his body, and so she starts talking to him, and he's like, well, in this mess I can't find my arms to help you, but maybe my teeth can saw those off. And so she starts sawing off her ropes on his teeth, on his decomposed body, and she gets free, and she goes, you know what, I think I'm gonna fucking brutally murder every single person who did this to you or who thought that killing you guys was a good idea. And he goes, well, you have fun with that, kiddo. I'm gonna go back to my wife now. And she goes, oh yeah, you guys are finally together again. I'm so happy for you. And he's like, no need to be happy for me, darling. You just go do you. And he's like, it was so sad. I was like, oh God, my feelings. But she emerges from the truck full of dead bodies in a complete rage, and she unleashes hell, just crazy bitch-ass hell, on all of the hobo murderers. And it was really good. And the people who were corrupt and who were doing all of these horrible things also got killed, except for the mayor, who I think is the setup for the big baddie for this current arc.
Oh, he's still the villain in this. He was the villain when I was reading it last.
Yeah, he's still the villain. We haven't quite gotten to her taking him out yet, but she takes out everybody who's involved, and we get that part of the arc wrapped up pretty nicely. There's nobody left from this organization to kill any homeless people ever again, and she kind of saves the day. And the undercover cop who's kind of enlisted her to sort of be a mercenary to track down these really unpleasant, really corrupt crimes is like, you're a hero, Harley, but it's getting harder and harder to hide from people that you're the one who's doing all of these heroic acts. And she's like, could you please hide it? Like, I've got street cred. Please, like, I'll hide it for as long as I can. And then the arc ends. And we get this really cute Dini, Bruce Timm style story.
Oh, is this the first one?
What?
I said, is this the first of the new Dini ones that they're doing?
No, this is the third.
Oh shit, I've been missing
them.
The
Dini ones are going on in a continuous arc. So this is the end of the first Dini story that they're doing. and Harley and Joker make it out of Batman's clutches after a really adorable fight with her hyena babies intact, and they're off to find a new hideout at the end of that. But the Dini Tim stories at the end of these issues of Harley are really, really adorable. I think they got their pacing and their focus back because this issue was phenomenal. This was a great issue.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm glad to have the series kind of back on track.
That's awesome.
Oh, also, there's a really cool scene in which the Red Tool accidentally grapple hooks into somebody's body when he's trying to save himself from falling off a building. It was pretty metal. It was awesome.
The Red Tool, who is, of course, a Deadpool parody.
No, it's totally original. The Red Tool, who talks to himself.
And what a tool he is. So, all right. So, does that wrap up this arc? Seemingly, for Harley?
Yeah, this wraps up this arc.
All right. So, if you didn't jump on board with this, you're gonna have to go back and read through a lot of craziness. Or you can wait for next month.
I think you can probably, if you want this arc and you want to see the awesome grindhouse fighting, you can just pick up next, like the previous story, and then go into this one, and you'd be all caught up.
Awesome.
You'd be fine.
You'd be good. You'd be good. You're good.
Yes.
All right. So we got 2 more books. One is the one that most people, if they didn't come here for Secret Empire, I almost called it American Empire because it's got Captain America in it. I'm like, that's not what it is. So we're gonna talk about Batman number 22. Joel?
Yes. So the penultimate issue of The Button, and what a story and what a lead up it has been to this point. In the previous issue, we saw Batman and the Flash go on a nice trip on the old cosmic treadmill, as they are wont to do, and they found themselves in the Flashpoint universe, which is Flash notes very early on in this. This is impossible. This was an alternate history, not a universe unto itself.
Right.
Why is this place still here? What amazing power is holding this place together? Some shit. That's what that is.
And also the interaction between Bruce and Thomas Wayne, and it was so beautiful, and it was so sad because for the first time in a long time, we see Bruce take down those walls and become a kid again.
Come with me, Dad. Come with us.
Yeah, come with me, Dad. Yeah, it was just like, essentially what winds up happening is Bruce and Thomas Wayne, they're ready to fight their way out, you know, because the forces of...
Wait, hang on.
Of Themyscira
Hang on. Joel, what happened in the issue?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I got too excited.
I wasn't going to stop her. But
that's my job.
As Caitlin was saying, some truly touching stuff between Bruce and his father this issue. They get into a fight, but Batman's like, no guns. We do this with our fists like men in costume. That's how we're going to do this. It's great, too, because, you know, Batman's like, oh, I finally have the chance to say to you, Dad, all the things I've always wanted to say. And the first thing he chooses to say is, hey, I'm a dad too now. You're a grandpa. I have Damien. Which made me laugh because I'm like, oh yeah, what are the other kids you adopted? They're just chopped liver, huh? You don't mention Dick or
my real kids.
I imagine they hear about that later from Barry. He's like, that son of a bitch. He didn't mention us to our adoptive grandfather.
Right.
What a dude. Welcome back, Dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a really well put together issue, which, man, this, like, I know this is no pun intended because this is a story involving the Flash, but these 3 stories have been really quick. They have wasted no time. They have been incredibly lean.
I guess you could say they were over in a flash.
Ow.
I feel like the interactions, they must have handed Johns and you know, Williamson and King the convergence. They're like, hey, don't do that.
Do it better.
Yeah, remember when other Batman met Thomas Wayne Batman and that was kind of lame? Do you remember that? Don't do that. Just don't. As long as you don't do that, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be totally fine.
When Batman was like, your letter was the most precious gift that I could have gotten. And there are so many things about that letter I want to ask you, Dad. And his dad is like, do you remember what I whispered to you when we were being pulled out of the Batcave? And I was like,
we rise.
my feelings.
Oh yeah, I'm not afraid to
he's
say
like-
I got misty on that one too. Between that and the Wally at the beginning of DC Rebirth, they're like, why do you want to make me cry, DC Comics?
When Bruce is on the cosmic treadmill and he's reaching out for his dad as they're getting ready to go, and
I thought he was going to come with them. I really did.
And he goes, "Let me save you," and then they vanish, and his dad goes, "You already have."
Ugh.
See,
And, like-
I dug that, but there was not enough reason. He's like, don't be Batman. That's your every reason to go with them, because you're like, because I will be Batman.
Oh, wouldn't that be? But I'll be a murderous Batman, which will
Right,
cause
but I mean, like, they would have dealt with that. But like that, like he had no other than like he doesn't belong there. There was no reason. There was no serious threat. He's right there.
My assumption was he had to go down with the ship, that the Flashpoint universe, he felt responsible for everything that had happened up until that point.
Well, I mean,
that
then
he had to
Barry
go
should have
out.
stayed.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I also feel like maybe Thomas Wayne, maybe he thought if he was pulled out from this Flashpoint universe that's hanging on by a thread, he would be leaving a door open for something else to come through.
I assume that
If
they
he
just
let
were like,
him.
we can't write him into this.
That
And
would be
we
so much trouble.
We already got rid of all the forces that were after them, whether it be from Themyscira or from Atlantis. They're like, they already dispatched them. There's nothing to stop you. He's just gonna stay. He's just gonna stay. It's fine. The Langoliers are coming for him, and he's just gonna stay.
Oh, it literally was the Langoliers.
It was the
wasn't it?
Langoliers!
I think it was a little better than the Langoliers.
Oh no, almost anything is better than the Langoliers, let's be honest.
They eat up tomorrow.
I remember when I first watched the Langoliers, I was probably like 11 years old, and my 11-year-old self was like, I am 11, and what the fuck is this with these Langoliers? Why are they on a plane? Why does the plane not get consumed with the rest of reality?
So
why is Bronson Pinchot here?
What is this?
Because Balky's got to make money.
He does.
But I mean, like,
Stephen King got that money to me.
Right? Like, a lot of amazing visuals in this book. Like you said, it was very well written. It's nice to have Batman have some sort of closure with a alternate history father.
Feelings Batman. Feels man.
And it's so funny too, because it's like, can you imagine that? Can you imagine if they'd gone together, but when they realized, they're like, you're not really my dad. You're like other Bruce's dad, and you're not really my son.
They both have such an insane complex, son and daddy complex, that I think they would have just been like, nope, you're my real dad, la 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 la.
No one tell me any different.
Trauma never happened to me. I want to heal and live.
Would that mean...
life.
Okay, wait, so, like, the way Batman occasionally, depending on who's writing him and what the situation is, like, acts like, he's like, no, Damien's my son, the rest of you get out. Does that mean he gets back with, if he brought Thomas Wayne back, he's like, Alfred, bye. Bye!
Yeah, wouldn't that be some shit, kicking Alfred through? I have real dad now, I don't need you, surrogate dad. And Alfred will be like, well, fine, fuck you, I'll find my daughter Julia wherever she went.
I'll just make that work, it's fine.
Whatever happened to Julia?
I assume she went back to working for MI6.
Yeah, right?
Like, she had a job. She had a day job. She couldn't hang out in Gotham.
She'll crop up when they need her. But overall, this is cool. Do you remember what I told you guys about time and how, that means that Reverse Flash is never really gone? Because you're dealing with time?
Yep. Oh, yeah, I remember with that. And he showed up at the end, and he was like, I know what the power of the button is. And they're like, weren't you dead? And Barry's like, no, Batman, this is time travel. You don't understand. And then they went like, excellent.
I'm never dead.
Right?
Did you guys catch what the title of the final issue is called?
No, I didn't.
The Hand of God.
Oh, yeah, there it is, yeah.
As in the hand at the beginning of the DC creation myth that the fucking universe comes out of.
Called it. I knew they were going to tie in that big, marvelous blue hand.
Well, it's either that or it's going to be the hand from Smash Brothers.
Oh, that'd be fun, too. I'd like that.
I'll take either at that point. Just merge these universes. It's fine.
Batman and Flash, like, we can't fight the hand. His moves are too unpredictable.
Exactly. And then, like, Mario shows up. He's like, it's a me! Coins!
Kirby. Kirby's the best.
Well, this shit just got too weird for Batman.
You just down B Pikachu the whole time on that stupid hand. Down B, down B, down B.
Yeah, exactly.
No answer for it.
Right, just flashes like that thing, that shock rat. That's cool. I like him. We're gonna be pals. We're friends.
Do you want to come back to my? I could use a pet. I haven't had a Flash pet.
Right, and then they'll do all sorts of crossovers, and they can do
crossover.
Yeah, and then they'll probably do it like Sonic the Hedgehog with Flash. They'd be running it'd be a fast book. They'd be running.
I would like
rings.
Static Shock to team up with Pikachu.
Right?
That'd be really cute.
That would be cool. But overall, this book right now is spectacular. We've had 3 issues, and stuff has happened, but like nothing has been revealed, and yet I feel very satisfied. They're doing a lot with not a lot, and it's really spectacular.
Because the writing is so good.
It's almost a magic trick, isn't it? Like when comics are really good, it's like, how did you do that? I don't even see the string.
Right?
Like this is what happens when you get a perfect blend of like novel writing technique and screenwriting technique. That's what I feel like they've done here, is they've blended 2 techniques and then applied it to a comic book format, and it is so rewarding and it is so amazing.
Yeah.
These are my feelings.
I agree. Guys, if you're not reading this right now and you were picked up this issue, I think you'd be fairly confused. I feel like you have to go back.
It's just 2 issues back.
It's really just like, 2. Even look, I wouldn't
it's
recommend
$4 back.
Yeah, it's just don't forget you gotta go to Flash for the last one. But guys, like, I think this is well worth it. It's been a really fun event. Like I said, like they read super fast. They really do. You'll be all of a sudden be like, oh, it's over. Oh, okay, well.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the first arc of Tom King's Batman, he kind of foreshadowed like, oh, Batman is going to die at some point, and now here in this issue, Thomas Wayne is like, hey, let Batman die, live a normal life, be the father to your son I could never be to you. Do you think the death of Batman is metaphorical? Do you think we're going to see Batman hang up the cape?
I mean, like, technically, Batman did die because Thomas Wayne went off into the light. So technically, a Batman died. Okay, maybe
the timing would kind of line up too, because like we could have a whole issue about him hanging it up, and then we go into War of Jokes and Riddles, which we know is a flashback anyway. So
right, so maybe they're going to give Batman a break. Here's the thing, even if they do, I would like to think that Batman would come out of this realizing that he's just like, Thomas Wayne that I met, while, yes, I'm glad I got to see my father, and I'm glad I got to say some things, like, he didn't get it. Like, he was doing it all wrong.
He was full of shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're not my dad!
You're not even my real dad!
Ooh.
Come on! It's not
my dad didn't see the blue cosmic dong man who controls our lives, so yeah, I'm gonna keep being Batman.
Yeah, so, I think he'll probably become Batman for different reasons, or he'll take a break from being Batman and maybe pass the mantle to one of his Bat Sons. Which I feel like Damian is still too young, but weirdly enough, I think it could be Jason. Just looking at Jason's evolution and development throughout the Red Hood, I don't know. I feel like it could go to him. I'm ruling Nightwing out because if the baby thing ever happens, like,
his book's doing good.
But if it were Snyder's decision, it would be Duke. So,
yeah, it would be Duke. Snyder is there. So yeah, okay, I could see Duke. It's gonna be Duke.
I have a really cool friend named Duke, and I want you to all meet and like him as much as I do.
It'll be Bat Duke'em.
I don't like being told I'm gonna like something. So all right, so guys, we really enjoyed the button. I have to go, but my indie pick of the week was Extremity #3. If you're not reading Extremity, just get off your butts right now. I don't even care. I don't even finish watching. Go to the store, buy it. Extremity is a beautiful book that's written, drawn, created by Daniel Warren Johnson. I've said this before, I like when books are all handled by one individual. Everything on that page is what that person wanted on that page. It is like Mad Max meets Studio Ghibli in its world building. It takes place in a weird future past. Who knows? Where there are warring tribes and a crazy raised earth kind of thing and floating sky things and classes of people, and it's really honestly about a young girl who loses her arm due to a war between tribes. Of course, the antagonists are the people who are incorrect. But of course, she's an artist, and it's part of coping with that ability to like that you once had and not being able to do that anymore. It's also something of a coming of age story because her brother is really like supposed to be following in the footsteps of his father, who is the chief of their tribe essentially, and he doesn't have the stomach for killing. He really doesn't. He's much more of a thinker. He is a tinkerer. And there's robots and crazy monsters, and it's just a really interesting book. Again, I can't get over the world building. I every issue makes me want more of this world, and they're just very slowly revealing it to us, but like in this perfect way that isn't holding our hands. They're assuming that we understand certain things. It's great. So there you go. But now, before we leave, we're all going to go over what we have coming out this week, and then we're all going to go and see Guardians of the Galaxy. So we'll see you guys there, because that's how movies work. Joel, what you got going on this week?
Got all sorts of stuff going on, of course. I got new comic reviews coming out, some of the stuff we talked about on the show this week, some we didn't. I have a new required reading, Guardians of the Galaxy themed, of course, going up at some time. I need to figure this out. The video's done. I just don't know where it's going to go up yet. I got to figure that one out. But yeah, definitely keep eyes open for those.
Awesome. Kaylin?
I have, so over at my channel, at that sea monster, spelled with the C, I've got streaming that I'm going to be doing. I think I'm actually might hop on stream right after this because I don't have Guardians for a while and I have a little bit of time to kill. And I've got Road to Secret Empire coming out this weekend. I got really delayed last week because there was a lot of shenanigans going on in daily life. So I've got Road to Secret Empire coming out, and then a Rule of 3 video coming out for The Button. So if you guys want to check out that, that'll be over on my channel at That Sea Monster. Or if you just want to hang out with me, I stream a lot. Just to hang out. I'm lonely.
Oh. Hey, but before I forget, where are we all going to be for Free Comic Book Day in case fans want to come out and meet us?
I'll be at Madness Games and Comics out here in Dallas, Texas.
Worlds Collide, Oshawa, Ontario. I'll also probably jump into GNU Book first because it's the first one on the way into town for me.
It's over on Comic Pop. If you missed the Comic Pop plays of Mother Russia Bleeds, you can go check that out. It's actually me and Ethan, an unlikely duo of people who some are convinced are the same person. But no, you get to see us simultaneously playing. You get to hear Ethan doing a Russian accent. He does a pretty good one. It's pretty awesome. It's a lot of fun. Also, if you missed our back issues of Ghost Rider Danny Ketch, you can check that out. I led that one. It was amazing. I had so much fun with that book. Because you know what's amazing about that? It's volume 2 of Danny Ketch Classics. Volume 2, we just jump right in. So I read volume 1, got volume 2, had a great time. Go watch that. Also, Elseworlds Exchange yesterday will be dropping soon, if not tomorrow. Sal and I finished up our How to Make Your Own Comic thing. We talked about printing, the whole process that goes into that. So you can check that out too. And hey guys, before you go, hey, go to the Discord. There'll be links in the chat, I'm sure. But also, did you know that the poll has its very own SoundCloud now?
What?
You don't say.
Yeah, I just linked it right in there. It's right there. See it there? I'll link it twice because I can. So you can go over there and you can hear all the poll episodes if you want to just hear those. There you go. It's there. Let's check it out. I'm just gonna drop that in there. Boom.
So good.
Done. You go over and subscribe to it. It really helps us out. We'd like that.
Mm-hmm.
We like your help. We need your help, everybody. That'd be
Download
cool.
the show, carry it around with you.
And don't forget to come back every Tuesday when we do the weekly poll and talk about comic news and comedy bip bops and whatever. I don't know. I got it. I'm getting the wrap it up signal. Because we gotta go eat too. We gotta have dinner and then go to stand in the line with everybody. It's very panicky because they got all the colored cues and they're just like it's over there or whatever. So yeah, and don't forget to come back on Thursday for every episode of the poll where we will talk about the comics that came out this week. So there you go. Discords, SoundClouds, subscribe, like us, hang out with us, chill with us, and we'll see you guys later. Don't forget, Free Comic Book Day. Oh yeah, if you're looking for a comic pop, we're going to be at Dewey's Comics in Madison and Zap Comics in Wayne. So we're going to go to both those places. I don't know when. You can follow us on Twitter, find out where we're going to be. We'll see you guys later. Have a good one, and enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy, and may the 4th be with you, everybody. Bye!